Hey crafters, Big D here, and this week we got something a little different. As you can see by Lady Dragon in full production mode behind me, we are kind of swamped getting ready for Armies on Parade. So rather than showing you some new craft or do some type of filler craft piece before I do the next part of my big Imperial Fortress, I figured this would be a good time to kind of highlight my own take on the hobby. Now, I've been running the channel for a while, and it started off as more of a D&D focus and a terrain-specific focus for all over gaming. But about 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago, I got back into the game. I got back into 40K after being up for at least 20 years. 8th edition was a boon for me. I'm very happy about it. I started off playing Death Guard, and we got into Kill Team, and I decided to paint some Space Wolves for Kill Team, and that would have been 6 months ago. So for Armies on Parade, I've got my board done, and I'm putting my Space Wolves on display. So we're going to go over the lore and a little history of my paint jobs and what I've been doing with my Space Wolves over the last 6 months. So stay tuned. We're going to go hit the display table. When I started painting wolves, I started off with Kill Team. As you can see, I have placed in a tournament with these guys once. I was very pleased with how they came out. Bullwive the Silent and his Silent Hunters. It's a pretty cool group. I was building off a concept actually on the roster. Every single member of the team is named after one of the warriors in the 13th Warrior. So it was a pretty effective team. 2 Reavers, 2 Intercessors, and 2 Tacticals. And this was before Elites came out, so they did pretty well. They work out a lot of attacks, a lot of personal in your face, plus the ability to fire at long range with the missile launcher. And then depending on what kind of foes I was looking at that day, having these guys being different kinds of bolt guns depending on what was called for, worked out really well. In the end, with the advent of Elites, I pretty much think I'm going to have to end up retiring these guys and use some different configurations. I played them recently and they got absolutely manhandled. So I'm kind of rethinking how to do Kill Team with Adeptus Astartes. I'm definitely going to stick with Wolves because they are my favorite, but got to look at some alternate builds. But these were the very first guys I solidified together. So to start off my overview, let's start with the command squad. My overall unit is Hrothgar's Ice Spear. The idea behind my unit was that there was a honored battle leader, Hrothgar the Raven-Eyed, who was considered wise and sharp. When the Primaris were brought to the Wolves, as everybody knew there were some trepidations about it, he volunteered to have the Primaris process applied to him and then come back and lead. He went to his Wolf Lord, Ragnar Blackmane, and they agreed. So Hrothgar went forth, he went and got the process and came back. And as these new Primaris Marines were brought in, they became his army. He was promoted to Wolf Lord at the Council of Lords, and now he has his own unit. So Hrothgar, he is anytime I have him on the field, he is my warlord. I made him a custom base using a washer and putting some foam on it so it look like he's standing fully on a glacier of ice. All of my wolves have the similar base, but he actually has a slightly custom one because I wanted him to stand out besides him being in his Gravis armor. His sword was actually my first real attempt at wet blending. I actually like the way it looks. Probably should have done it as an ice blade, but I decided no, I want to do a power sword as a fire blade. So it is what it is. The rest of his HQ, I have a Plasma and Power Fist Captain, the Anniversary Captain. I actually had him before I had Hrothgar built. I didn't know if he was going to be wealthy enough after I put some bits on him, but he ended up turning out okay. I like him. The battle leader that comes out of the Wake the Dead box, my Rune Priest, my primary Rune Priest, is actually a custom-built figure. I actually used the easy to build that comes in the Start Collecting magazine as his base form, and worked my way up from there. I wanted my Rune Priest to look different than the average Rune Priest, and he does. And then, even though there are no Primaris, Jump Pack, Hammer, and Shield, so points-wise and stat-wise, he's a regular Marine, I used a Primaris body to make my Smash Captain. I really wanted a Smash Captain, but to keep with the theme, I wanted all the HQ members to look Primaris. So, yes, he's points-wise, he's a regular Marine. I built him to look like he does. And there's a lot of really good bits on him. I did a lot of work to make his bits really work out. I'm really proud of these guys. Obviously, you put more effort in your HQs. I certainly did. And I like the way they have advanced at this point. I still have a few more to go. I have the 3 HQ choices out of Shadow Spear that I haven't finished yet. They are coming shortly. I'm hoping to have to get them done this week so that I will have them for Armies on Parade. But this is the HQ portion, and I like to kind of mix it up. So if I'm running a 500 point or 1,000 point or 1,500 point, I have different command structures I can use. But at any point, if I'm using Hrothgar, it doesn't matter how many point it is. If he's on the field, he has to be my commander. Yeah, that's fluffy. I don't care. That's the way I plan. That's my guy. So, now you've seen him, let's go check out our frontline troops. Okay, so here we have our troops. 3 squads of intercessors, 5-man squads, and then the 10-man infiltrator unit out of Shadow Spear. I've crafted each of the 3 squad sergeants with a different weapon. I've got him with nothing officially, so I can play him as anything. I got one with a chainsword and one with a power sword. You might notice that the front 2 rows are a little darker than the back 2 rows. First 2 rows were painted the traditional method, using layering, and then contrast paints came out. And I actually loved the pale eggshelly color that you got from the contrast paints. And as much as I love the darker colors, I think both work really well. So when I paint a unit, I either paint it entirely using traditional method or entirely using the contrast method. So, at least for the base armor. I still use traditional method for everything else. Now, I just noticed that for these guys, I thought I did these already, but I guess I forgot to put their wolf emblems on their shoulders, so I'll have to do that probably after I'm done filming this video. But all the rest of my troops, I made it a point that I either got the upgraded shoulder pads, or I actually bothered to do the the water transfers. I really like water transfers. They allow you to do some really great stuff. I suck at freehanding. So, what you see is what you get. If I get decals on there, that's great. I have a heck of a time getting things in there, so I tried to come up with some interesting shapes. This shape is supposed to be reminiscent of a standing stone. These guys are a pair of double fangs, and these guys are a thick lightning bolt. Whereas these guys are just a simple slashing motion across the patch. I try to make sure that all my units are easily identifiable by the shoulder pads, like wolves should be. Every squad is different and has the same. And I do some variation. There's little bits I have here. Some of these guys will have like little wolf bits on them. I had some extra bits left over when I was building these guys, so I threw a wolf symbol on the top of his pack. It doesn't do anything with Primaris, but I thought it looked good. So these are my frontline guys. Now I've also got 2 squads of Grey Hunters that I'm about 80% done with. I'm hoping to also get them done, although these shoulder pads are going to take some time away from that. But we got to get the last 2 groups. I've actually got traditional Grey Hunters that I've almost got done that I want to have with them. These are my frontline troops. Again, these were painted in 6 months altogether so far. So let's go pull our heavy support and elites. So we've got 2 units, 5-man Hellblaster teams. We've got our Crescent Moon and our Half Moons. We've got 2 sets of 5 Reavers. We've got the I put like a shadowed circle. I forget what I named these guys. And then I've got 3 Claw. And I love Reavers. They get a lot of hate, but for wolves, they're really great. I'll go over that in a second. I also just recently finished my 3 Eliminators out of the Shadow Spear box. Now here's the thing. Like I was saying, I like Reavers. They get a lot of hate, but in the case of Space Wolves, Reavers really do shine. I mean, a Reaver starts with 2 attacks. You give them a knife and the pistol, and they get 3 attacks. And then you drop them down, and they charge in, which is why I built this Smash Captain. I'll drop the 2 sets of them down with him, and have them charge on a large unit, and they'll take up a lot of chaff, but they also throw a lot of attacks. And as wolves get that +1, you're talking about 16 attacks for 16 attacks at 2s. 16 attacks at 2s, and then he gets all of his attacks at 2s. Just a massive melee strike. Really great for chewing into the back lines of units. I think as wolves, there may be other units and other Marines that don't get the use out of them, but as Space Wolves, I think Reavers are just fine. I actually haven't used the Eliminators yet. I just finished painting them, so I actually haven't put them on the table yet. I'm looking forward to that. Hellblasters, I gotta agree in that they're a bit overpriced. When they hit, they're great. When they don't, they get killed really quickly. It's one of the reasons why I like running a second captain, because then I run them overcharged and then re-rolling the ones. And these are just processes of thought I had while I was putting this army together. So, again, these guys were built early, as you can see, the darker scheme, and then these guys are more recent. Like I said, I like Reavers. I think they get a bad rap. I think for us, they work just fine. In the future, I wanted to get some wolf in. I'd really like to get some Wolfen, and I definitely want to get some Terminators. I have some unbuilt ones at this point. I actually want to do a tutorial for painting wolves, the way I paint them, the traditional method. But I want to do them using the Terminators that I got. Now, the other figure I have that is a elite is the one I put in Forever Chosen. And that is my Ancient, my company Ancient. I'm actually really proud of this figure. I put him up on a higher base, a non-Primaris figure. I just really kind of spent a lot of time really wanted to make him look good. But it is noticeable that I only got a few votes, and that's okay. It gave me some ideas on stuff I want to change in the future, and some definite future changes I want to make to my painting. So I'm proud of what I did, I'm proud of how I did, and I'm proud of how he looks. Whether or not he won anything doesn't matter. He's a beautiful figure, and I'm happy to have him as part of my force. So I wish I had more of an opportunity to use him more. Unfortunately, the points are better spent in other places for now. But bigger armies, bigger forces, they might be more useful in the future. So let's move on to fast attack units. Okay, so we've got our fast attack units here. 3 suppressors, 2 units of Inceptors, and a pack of Fenrisian Wolves. I use the Inceptors a lot, along with the Wolves special abilities to benefit for the punch, the gun, the drop in. I use them with that Smash Captain when I have a detachment for them. And I like suppressors. I like them a lot. It's like they were tailored for use with the wolves. So tailored that typically I get them on the ground the round they drop out of the sky. They get their shots off, and then whoever it is I'm fighting fires for effect and puts everything into them until they're dead. So it's the one biggest problem with them. It's not that they're fragile, but they draw a lot of fire because of their special ability. The opposite is true of my Fenrisian Wolf Pack. They break easy, they're not really good, they're just fast screening, and they're not really good at that either because they're not very durable. But I wanted them, I love them to death. They're some of my favorite figures because they really represent one of the unique flavors of the Space Wolves. The fact that their Fenrisian Wolves are part of their army. There's so many other chapters that their unique units really aren't that different. These guys are different. Now, as far as other fast attack units I'd like to get, eventually I'd like to get some bikes. I definitely want to get some Thunderwolf cavalry, and I need a Cyberwolf to lead these guys. Maybe for completionist purposes, but I like having lots of her units. So eventually I wouldn't mind getting another or 2 units of these guys when they come in their separate box. Gosh, it's like they were made for wolves. I can't say it enough. They really do the job. I'm waiting for the day that I actually get to face Tau, because I think these guys against a Tau gun line will be an end of days type scenario. They kill one guy and we are ending those Tau. So that's my fast attack. Last up, we're going to take a look at my vehicles. And this is the unfortunate state where I know that my army is lacking. I only have one dreadnought, and I only have the one tank. These are great, though. He, as we referringly, or his brethren, I should say, lovingly refer to him, Brother Fat Boy, does the job. He gets a lot of killingness off, draws a lot of fire because people do not want to leave him on the board. That was an easy to build kit. He was cheap, quick to build, great paint job. I was so happy with how he came out. I love pointing out the fact that this gun, this lovely looking gun, was painted in contrast. I gave it a base coat in lead belcher, then painted it in black contrast, and then highlighted it in Runefang silver, and it just came out gorgeous. I love the way that looks. It really looks like the old bolt gun metal from back in the day. I just love the way that one turned out. This tank, it was a lot of fun to paint this thing. I really loved it. It is magnetized. I do have the plasma cannon, so I can swap out with the plasma. I actually have the turret made so I can take it off for ease of use. As you can see, there's a number of water transfer decals on there. I wanted to wolf it up quite a bit. I actually, if I get another one of these, which I do want a second one of these. I'm actually going to get some of the resin kits and put some more raised relief on the second one. What else do I want? I want to get a Bjorn the Fell-Handed. I want to get a Murder Fang. I want to get a couple more Dreadnoughts. I want a second one of these guys. I want the new Scout Walker thing, whatever it's called, the Infiltrator, the baby carrier. I love that new thing. It looks cool to me. I want to get some Dreadnoughts. I want to be able to have some opportunities to change my mind and change out some units and swap them things out and play a couple different variations in the army. I point out this because I don't play like ITC level competitive. I play at a local level, and I love just playing the game. So when I play, it is mobile. I want to play the figures I want to play. And if I get my butt beat because I'm playing against somebody's tournament list, then I get my butt beat by somebody playing a tournament list. My goal is to have as much fun as I can with my models. So I paint what I like, and I like Space Wolves. I did every single base in the same way. I made sure that these guys' bases were all the same thing, that crackle method you'll find in an earlier video. I even went so far in making sure the base for my hover tank was the exact same method. So unfortunately you really can't see it unless you're right up on the model. It doesn't matter to me. It looks really good, and it looks quite beastly. I love this tank. It just exudes aggressiveness. So many guns, and the thing has been a beast for me. In the games I've had it in, it has been an absolute beast. The other thing I'd like to actually get for my HQ. I'd like to get some named figures. I want Ulrich the Slayer really badly. I'd like to make a Wolf Priest if I don't get Ulrich soon. I want a lot of the named characters because I think they add to the flavor of the company. I'd like to get a Iron Priest if I get some more vehicles. I don't think it's worth it. I definitely want the Space Wolf specific flying vehicles. I want a couple of those. I'd like to do an air wing of them. So I'd like to have a trio of them. That'd be great. I mean, it's super expensive, but I don't care. I think it'd be great to be able to throw them down with those huge frost cannons and just devastate things and then drop out troops and have a day. So, I hope you enjoyed this view into my army. 6 months of painting. It's, I think, somewhere around 3,500 points. It's three magnetized boxes of figures to get everybody where I need to get them to go when I take them to fight. So, thanks again. Thanks for coming by. So, game on.